Hello everyone, this is Strawberry Shorty, here with my review of the original Resident Evil movie from 2002. So, like I said in my channel update, I really struggled with what I wanted to do this month. With Welcome to Raccoon City coming out, I decided I wanted to focus on Resident Evil stuff, but I still struggled with what exactly. I'm fairly active on the subreddit, and there's a lot of controversy about the new movie, and a lot of people are shooting back with criticism related to the original film series. Now I'd watched the first two previously, and I certainly didn't hate them, but I decided to watch them again and do reviews. This won't just be about whether the movies are good or bad on their own merits, but my feelings as a longtime Resident Evil fan. So, let's get started. In the original Resident Evil, the game this movie is somewhat based on, we follow a few members of the STARS team. They lost contact with their comrades who were investigating some cannibalistic murders that had occurred in the Arklay Mountains. Contact with them was lost, and so as a result, our main characters had to be sent in. That was a little redundant. I don't know how I missed that. Anyway, the ride books it when they're suddenly attacked, and that forces them to flee into a nearby mansion. In comparison, the movie starts out very different. There is a mansion, but it's not the main setting. Instead, the focus is on the Hive, a laboratory that's hidden underneath it, where something has gone horribly wrong. Instead of STARS, we follow a woman named Alice, who wakes up with amnesia in the mansion, with no idea who she is. In response to the crisis below, Umbrella sent a team in, claiming they and Alice share an employer, and that her amnesia is the result of a gas that got released as part of the lab's security protocol. And I can see why fans would be disappointed from the start. This has barely anything to do with the game. I don't have any idea if it was advertised to either, like Welcome to Raccoon City is currently. Fans came in wanting to see STARS exploring the mansion and fighting zombies, and instead they got people they don't know making their way through a lab, though the zombies are still there. For me, I knew very little about this movie back when I first watched it. Given how it opens with, things going south in the lab, I always viewed it as a prequel to the first Resident Evil game, and thought that was a unique direction to take things. Now I know that's not really the case, and it's more something that takes place in its own unique universe. Watching it again, I'm not sure what to make of it. Most of the characters are forgettable to the point that even while watching, I had no idea who many of them were. Aside from Alice and Matt, Rain was the only character whose name and fate I could clearly remember, and even then, her personality is really nothing more than just a bunch of glares. The action was fine, I don't really feel there's enough of it, and not much really happened. I don't feel like there were any truly shocking reveals, and not a lot to tie it to the games. I've heard people say it feels like a fanfic, with the guy who made it just making movies for his wife, who plays Alice, to star in. I get the criticism, but let me find a guy who will, make me my Resident Evil movies to star in. That'd be pretty cool. Anyway, having seen the trailers to Welcome to Raccoon City, which do feature a lot of content from the games, while also seemingly being really different, I can't appreciate this movie for what it is. I haven't had much luck finding information from before it came out, but I don't think anyone would go into this expecting the game. It does its own thing, but at least it's honest about it. They don't keep telling us it's the game when it's clearly not. That's kind of what I expect will be the case with Welcome to Raccoon City, whether it's ultimately a good movie or not. So, as is tradition, we'll now move on to spoiler talk. I made notations as I watched through the movie. This may be a little rambly compared to how I normally do things. Anyway, so the first thing I have to question is why does an Umbrella have a remote way to stop the Red Queen? We joke in the games about how horrible their security protocols have to be, but seriously, you don't have some off-site way to stop your supercomputer? And then the Red Queen is all-powerful basically, so why doesn't she kill everyone right away? I mean, She does start doing so fairly early, but she has that gas, so why doesn't she just gas the entire cast immediately? And then everyone gets trapped, or not everyone, but a few people get trapped in that that laser hallway, and that medic, her reflexes suck. I don't know what her name was supposed to be. Her death was really creepy, but seriously, they shouted that the thing was coming a minute ago, and you did not do anything. The deaths of the other two that died in that hallway were also pretty creepy, but would it have killed them to get more screen time? I don't even know what the one dude's name was. I think the leader's name might have been one, but he wasn't around enough. I mean, like, maybe that's silly of me to complain about, since, you know, I was just saying, why isn't the Red Queen killing everyone right away? Leader guy did not even back away when he saw that laser grid. Like, he sees it, like, get to a point where it's like it's definitely gonna kill him, but he's just, like, standing there and waiting for it. Like, if he'd backed towards the door, he might have made it. So the Red Queen looks like a little girl, which is interesting, but she's not super active throughout this movie. She lets the computer guy and Alice into that chamber, despite knowing that they are gonna, like, shut her down or mess with her or whatever. And she tries to talk them out of it, but she doesn't really give them any reason. She's just like, oh no, don't do it, it'll be bad. And it's like, maybe if you told them about what might actually happen, it might have worked. Like, yeah, you'll let all the zombies free and all the monsters. And then we cut to this scene with Rain and a guy, and, like, Matt is sitting up on a thing, and it's like, how did he get up there? Like, did they help him up there? Kind of hard to imagine. And the more I watch this movie, the more I begin to understand Brad booking it at the start of the game. Like, I know they've got a mission and all, but there has got to be a better way to accomplish this. Like I said it earlier, but seriously, no one outside of here has a way to shut down the Red Queen. Like, I just would want to leave this place immediately as things started going south. And did these people get any prep for this mission? Are we supposed to believe these guys are like the team in Resident Evil 3 who only have a vague idea what's going on? Like, Umbrella wants these guys to succeed, right? So why do they not tell them about the T-virus? Why would the Red Queen not find a better way to kill the infected? Like, they're all coming back as zombies because she left them in one piece. What was her goal here? And come to think of it, why couldn't she have contained the outbreak in the room it started in before anyone got infected? Why was the guy responsible able to get as far as he did? Like, I feel like a better way to go would be to have the Red Queen actually, like, immediately detect and contain the virus before it spreads, and then her trapping everyone is to protect them. Like, she just shuts down everything. And then the team coming in and shutting her down and opening up everything causes the outbreak. I feel like that'd have been a better twist. Anyway, I love how the others come running when they hear gunfire, and Rain just makes it seem like she shot the person because she was acting weird and bit her, as opposed to, like, you know, not being fazed by being shot several times. That's kind of really important. And then I thought, like, the zombie lady dropped this surprisingly old-fashioned looking key ring. And I'm just thinking, like, unless one of those keys has a button that makes a card key pop out, this is the most unbelievable thing in this movie so far. But apparently it was actually the handcuff key, although why were there so many keys on there? Like, did I see that wrong? And then there's that really creepy scraping noise. And it's like, all I can think of is George Maxwell is coming to get us. And, like, I don't think anybody here will get that reference. I need to do some Clock Tower videos, because I love those games, and they don't get enough attention these days. We haven't had a new one in forever. Anyway, we seriously need Nikolai in this movie. Not a favorite character of mine, but these guys are surrounded by clearly hostile people, including a dude who is missing half his face, and they're not just gunning them down. Like, I can understand a little hesitance, but, like, the main one showing it is the same guy who saw what just happened with the zombie that attacked Rain. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is. Who is this guy again? JD? I think that's one of the characters. Or that might be the computer guy. So, maybe it's just because I'm used to seeing it in the video games, but, like, does the way Rain's assault rifle or whatever work just seem off to anyone else? Like, every time it fires, I don't believe it at all. Also noted that I feel like the zombie actors probably had a lot of fun filming this movie. And, like, the assault rifles damage the containers. Why on earth would Umbrella not make said containers resistant to bullets? Like, did they never think that maybe one of the monsters would get free and someone would have to shoot it with some high-powered weaponry? Oh, and Alice is apparently a traitor, but technically she betrayed the bad guys, so I guess that still makes her a good guy? Maybe? Realistically, feel like Matt shouldn't have been able to retrieve those keys from that grate, but he somehow does anyway. And then we get to a part where they're trying to open a door when the zombies are ganging up on them, And I felt for them because it reminded me of when you're trying to log on to some website, but they keep asking you to input some numbers to prove you're not a bot, but you can't make them out, so you just keep messing it up, and then you have to reset your password. So they finally get the door open, and JD, I think that's him because that sounds like what Rain called him, he got a pretty awful death, and no one bothered to, like, shoot him in the head to save him the pain of being eaten alive. We cut the power, and that makes all the electronic doors open. I don't know how that works. So we got a water area and some open cages that we saw earlier in the film. Zombie dogs are a given, but we're gonna get sharks? I don't remember too much about this at the time that I was writing this, but we're probably not gonna get sharks. Also, where the frick did Matt go? He was with us like 2 seconds ago. And there's the rest of the dogs. I don't believe Alice would have been able to shoot them all without moving unless they took turns coming at her. And why did she drop the gun to have like a weird movie kick with the last one? It makes sense if she like shot the gun until realizing it was out of bullets, but she did not. She didn't even try and shoot that one, and it wasn't really that close to her. It's when her kick's lethal to zombies and zombie dogs. Oh, and there's Matt. Someone has thrown a lot of unused construction paper all over the floor. And yeah, Matt, don't grab anything you can use as a weapon. It's not like you just saw a bunch of people get killed by zombies. A little side note here, but did this facility have no actual security guards underground? Anyway, it feels so bad for this David Boreanaz looking computer guy. He is not at all ready for this, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna die. Seriously, he looks like David Boreanaz, right? Like, I don't think that's who plays him, but that's definitely who I thought played him when I first saw this as a kid. Oh, and then he gets attacked by his sister Lisa, and she is all over him like this is a Folgers commercial. And Matt, maybe don't tell the girl you know is an Umbrella employee that you're working against them. Also, they did basically see through your ID. That's why you were handcuffed, because they didn't believe you. Seriously, genetic and viral research is illegal? Like, really? Like, I'm sure it's illegal the way Umbrella does it, but I didn't know it was, like, illegal altogether. So we're suddenly being attacked, and that was, like, a really weird cut. I guess they needed to get everyone back together somehow. And JD is somehow in one piece after being eaten alive, and it doesn't even really look that injured. He's dead and a zombie, but he doesn't really look injured. And it's like, you know the minute you see him, they're gonna have him attack us for dramatic effect, but I think it's stupid. And how did the virus reanimate him so fast? And I guess none of us are gonna address the fact that Rain is infected, Red Queen included. We're just gonna skip over that. And there's Alice doing the scissor move in a time before every other woman in action movies was doing it. I swear another of the team died in the utility tunnels, and I thought it was the computer guy, but he's apparently still with us and unharmed, and I'm confused. Rain got bit about 20 more times, but somehow got out alive after shooting zombie JD, who did indeed return to attack us. The computer guy narrowly escapes death yet again when I believe he should be covered in bites. I think his name is Kaplan. He orders the others to go on without him and doesn't take his own life despite wanting to, so he's pretty brave. Still sure he's gonna die, but let's hope he gets to do something cool beforehand. Maybe throw us a rocket launcher or something. Alice is hallucinating or something, and it's never explained. She realizes there's a cure for the T-virus, yet ironically the time she spent standing there mid-hallucination might have been what caused it to be administered to Rain far too late. Have we seen zombie rabbits in this series yet? That's a missed opportunity for some zombie rabbits. Also, I gotta say, I love how the virus looks in this movie. You know, in those cool little tubes with the swirls. In the games, like, we get like a pink nightstick looking thing. I mean, I guess that was technically the vaccine or the cure or whatever. But, like, seriously. I think 2 might have had some cool looking stuff for the plant thing. Anyway. So the other amnesiac who was fake married to Alice, whose name is apparently Spence, though I don't remember us ever being told this, is the one who stole the virus at the beginning. And the Red Queen just let him. And then he let the virus loose while making his escape, despite the fact that he should probably know doing so would stop him from escaping with it. He says later he didn't know that the Red Queen had security protocols outside of the hive, but like, you were still in the hive when you did that. Also, anyone else think Alice should have pretended to go along with Spence's offer and then just like knock him out? Also, Matt is the worst cop. He jumps the banister and rushes the guy with the gun, and it's like, there's no way that's gonna work. Like, that works if you're like a foot from him, not if you have to jump a thing. And then he fails to get the gun off him even when Spence turns his back as he's attacked by the world's stealthiest zombie. And it's like, Matt, you are not shaping up to be a good nemesis for our villain here. That is for sure. And then, like, Spence gets injured but gets away. And it's like, I'd have injected the cure right away in this moment. He hears some faint noises and is just like, what are those noises? And I'm just like, inject yourself, man. Worry about the noises later. And his whole death was really underwhelming. And then we break a monitor and it just seems to stop the Red Queen. And I was just like, what the heck? But it turns out that Kaplan made it back to us and, like, hit that button thingy. We got a liquor, even though they only appeared in they appeared in Resident Evil 2. It looks cool, but I thought it looked cooler before it mutated. And then they find Spence's body, and they're all just kind of slowly approaching and staring at it, and it's like, Rain is dying. Maybe, run up and grab the antivirus. And then, oh, Spence is a zombie now, but he has glowing eyes. Like, they could have made him like a Crimson Head or something, but no, he just has glowing eyes. He doesn't put up much of a fight either. And Alice, like, axes him. And I'm glad she killed him rather than leave him alive as a zombie. Like, never spare a zombie. It will come back to bite you. Or someone else. And Alice is all like, no one else is gonna die. And it's like, I already know Rain dies, and I can't imagine Kaplan is gonna make it out either. I remember Alice and Matt surviving. And apparently Kaplan did actually get bit at some point, despite seeming uninjured, because they give him the cure too. And then it's like, oh, Rain, you're not about to turn into a violent zombie, are you? Let me get real close and make sure you're not going to turn into a zombie. And then when Alice thinks that she's dead, she, like, grabs a gun, and it's like, don't get ready to shoot her before you're sure she's dead or turned, Alice. Like, you have not taken her pulse. You don't know. Oh, why did Matt take his shirt off? Where is Alice's axe? She better not have ditched it like the other Matt did in Until Dawn. Like, what is with these people? Don't leave an axe behind. Like, that's a good weapon. And you're all talking about, like, oh, our guns are out of bullets. Yeah, and there goes Kaplan. Kaplan's dead. I thought I remembered Rain's death. But I remember it being more, like, surprising. Like, her turning and attacking, like, in an instant, and then Alice shooting her. That's not actually what happens. I'm kind of disappointed. Since they had that fake-out death for her, like, just seconds earlier, I think that would have been kind of a cool surprise thing. Also, Alice, stop using a handgun on the final boss. Like, I knew you ditched the axe. Like, Matt, throw her a rocket launcher or something. And we finally stopped the liquor, like, by dropping it onto the train tracks, but, like, the train should have, like, derailed or something, right? And, like, so we escape with the virus, but it's like, what are our plans for it? Do we have any proof Umbrella made it? Like, I feel with all their power, they could probably just cover up the whole thing and just be like, oh, it's a fake. And then we get that little teaser for the next movie with Matt. And I thought that was, like, a little too spoilery for my taste. Like, they could have just said, like, oh, let's bring him in and see what we can do. Instead, they name drop a very specific antagonist, and it's like, wow. Like, I've seen the second movie, and, like, everyone knew. Everyone knew the minute they saw that character, they knew. And then we're back to Alice, and it's like, how long was she out? Like, her hair seems longer, and I really want to know if that needle card reader trick she did would ever actually work in real life. Like, I could buy that it would break the card reader. I'm not sure it would open the door, though. I can't really complain. I do something like that in one of my stories where a character shoots a card reader and the door just opens. So I'll give it a pass. Anyway, Alice makes her way out of the hospital and, like, grabs a lab coat to cover her up, but not like some scrubs or something. Like, she's basically naked. She's got to be freezing. I think the end part of her in Raccoon City with the shotgun and just everything's destroyed, I think that's a better teaser for the next film than the stuff with Matt. So yeah, that was really rambly. I'm not used to doing, like, movie reviews. Like, I gotta work on that. I feel like I'll have a more interesting review for Resident Evil Apocalypse, because I remember liking that movie a lot more. Had more interesting characters. But for now, that is it for my review of Resident Evil. People on the subreddit have a lot to say about this movie, so I hope I'll hear from some of you in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.